Welcome to a deep dive, where science fiction is becoming science fact. We're talking about how artificial intelligence is revolutionizing research.
Mm,
And not just in some far off future, but, like right now.
yeah, it's true. The pace of change is incredible.
It really is.
Yeah. We're going to be unpacking a report from the Royal Society called Science in the Age of AI. Think of it as your cheat sheet to understanding how AI is impacting everything from climate modeling to the hunt for new materials.
When I hear AI in science, my mind jumps to things like AlphaFold predicting protein structures. But what really stood out to me in this report is how AI is becoming a standard tool in pretty much every scientific field.
Yeah, it's like having a superpowered research assistant that can analyze massive data sets, run complex simulations, even automate entire labs. This is opening up avenues of research that were previously impossible, especially in fields, drowning in data.
Okay, so for those of us who haven't spent much time in a lab lately, give me a concrete example. How is this actually playing out in the real world?
So imagine you're a doctor trying to diagnose a rare disease. You could spend years poring over medical journals and patient records, or you could have an AI analyze all that data in a fraction of the time, potentially finding connections of treatment options that human eyes would miss.
That's incredible. So AI is not just analyzing existing data, it's actually helping scientists make new discoveries.
Right.
But there's a catch, right? The report talks about a reproducibility crisis in AI research.
Yes, and this is a serious concern. Imagine reading a study about a groundbreaking new cancer treatment, but then other scientists can't replicate those results. That's essentially what's happening in some AI research.
So why is this happening? Is it just because AI is still a relatively new field?
It's partly that, but there's a deeper issue. AI models, especially those using deep learning, can be like black boxes. We know they work, but it's often unclear how they arrive at their conclusions. It's like using a GPS without knowing how it calculates the route. You might get to your destination, but you won't understand the journey or be able to explain it to someone else.
And if you can't explain how you got there, how can other scientists build on that research?
Exactly. This lack of transparency not only makes it harder to trust the findings, but it also hinders collaboration. It's like trying to build a skyscraper where each team is speaking a different language.
So transparency is key. But the report also highlights the importance of teamwork in AI research. It's not just about brilliant minds working in isolation, right?
Absolutely not. AI research thrives when computer scientists who build the tools collaborate with domain experts in fields like medicine, physics, or climate science who know how to apply those tools effectively. A great example from the report is this aging scientist who felt completely overwhelmed by the rapid pace of AI developments. It really highlights the need for better communication and training across disciplines.
So it's about bringing different worlds together. But then there's the question of who's driving this AI revolution. I mean, all this research and development takes a lot of resources.
Well, that raises a critical question about who controls this powerful technology. While governments are investing in AI, the private sector is pouring in billions, leading to incredible breakthroughs. But this also raises concerns about potential conflicts of interest. Could profits be prioritized over scientific progress?
That's a big one. And the report specifically dives into the world of AI patents. China is apparently leading the pack, followed by the US. What are the implications of this for the future of research?
Well, it's shaping the global landscape of AI research, but it's not always clear whether this is a good thing.
Mm,
There's a growing debate about whether companies should be allowed to patent scientific discoveries made by AI. Some argue that this could stifle innovation and limit access to crucial knowledge, especially for researchers in developing countries.
It sounds like there are some real ethical dilemmas at play here. We'll definitely need to unpack that further.
Absolutely. Because it's not just about what AI can do, but what it should do. As AI becomes more powerful, we need to think carefully about the ethical implications.
So we've talked about the widespread use of AI in science, the challenges of reproducibility and transparency, and the influence of the private sector. But before we dive into those ethical considerations, let's take a step back and consider what this all means for the average person.
Right? AI is going to touch everyone's lives, whether they work in a lab or not. It's already being used in healthcare, finance, transportation. The list goes on. Understanding the opportunities, challenges, and ethical implications is crucial for navigating the future.
It's like learning a new language that's becoming increasingly essential in a globalized world.
Exactly. And in our next segment, we'll do just that. We'll dive into the report's recommendations for making AI research more trustworthy and look at some real-world case studies that show how AI is being used to tackle everything from climate change to rare diseases.
Sounds fascinating. I can't wait to unpack it all.
Welcome back to our deep dive into science in the age of AI. Before we jump into those real-world applications, let's talk about how we can make this powerful tool work better for science and society. The report lays out some recommendations that go beyond just identifying problems.
Right, because it's one thing to point out the flaws, but it's another to offer solutions. So what are some of the key takeaways for making AI research more trustworthy and reliable?
Well, one of the biggest hurdles is making sure researchers have access to the right tools and infrastructure. Think high-performance computing, open-source software, well-curated data sets, the essential building blocks for AI research.
So it's like making sure a chef has a fully equipped kitchen before asking them to whip up a gourmet meal.
Exactly. You can't expect groundbreaking discoveries if scientists are working with outdated tools or limited resources. And it's not just about the physical infrastructure. The report emphasizes the need to make AI tools more user-friendly. Not every scientist is a coding whiz. You know, imagine a biologist who wants to use AI to analyze images of cells, but they don't know how to code. There's a real need for intuitive tools and AI literacy training across different disciplines.
Because even the most brilliant scientific mind can't work miracles without the right tools and training. The report also talks about this idea of co-design. What exactly does that mean?
It's about bringing together computer scientists who develop the AI tools and the scientists from various fields who will actually be using them. By working together from the start, they can ensure the tools are truly tailored to the specific needs of the research.
So it's like having the architects and the construction workers on the same page before building a skyscraper, preventing those costly miscommunications down the line.
Precisely. And all of this ties back to the reproducibility crisis we talked about earlier.
Right, the elephant in the lab. What are some concrete steps for tackling that?
The report strongly advocates for embracing open science principles and practices. This means making research data code and methods publicly available, allowing others to scrutinize and replicate the work. It's about transparency and collaboration, ultimately leading to more robust and reliable scientific findings.
So it's like opening up the lab notebooks and sharing the secret formula, so to speak. But I can imagine some researchers might be hesitant to share their hard-earned work. How do we change that mindset?
Well, the report suggests that funders and journals should incentivize open science practices, rewarding and recognizing scientists who prioritize transparency. It's about shifting the culture of scientific research to value collaboration over competition.
Because at the end of the day, the goal is to advance scientific knowledge, not just personal accolades. Now, before we move on to those real-world examples, let's touch on the ethical considerations again.
Yeah, with any powerful technology, there are ethical implications that can't be ignored, and AI in science is no exception.
So how do we ensure that AI is used ethically in research? Are there concrete guidelines in place?
The report stresses the need for clear ethical guidelines and review processes to ensure responsible development and use of AI models. This includes addressing potential biases in data, the potential for misuse, and the environmental impact of AI research.
Because just because we can do something doesn't always mean we should.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We need to be thinking about the potential consequences, both intended and unintended. The report also highlights the risk of AI exacerbating existing inequalities, especially in areas like healthcare.
Right.
We don't want a future where only a privileged few benefit from AI advancements.
It's about ensuring fairness and equitable access,
Mhm.
making sure everyone has the opportunity to benefit from the power of AI.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that goes beyond national borders. We need international collaboration and data sharing, especially when it comes to tackling global challenges like climate change.
Because science doesn't stop at any country's border. Okay, I'm eager to see how all of this is playing out in the real world. Where should we start?
Let's begin with materials science. This is a field where AI is having a profound impact, accelerating the discovery and development of new materials with properties we could only dream of before.
Okay, so we're talking about the building blocks of everything from smartphones to spacecraft. What's AI's role in all of this?
Think of it this way. Traditionally, finding new materials was a slow and painstaking process, often relying on trial and error. But now AI can analyze vast databases of materials, predict their properties, and even suggest modifications to enhance those properties.
So it's like having an AI-powered material scientist working alongside human researchers. What are some of the potential applications of this?
The possibilities are endless. We can see more efficient solar panels, lighter and stronger building materials, even revolutionary new medical implants. Imagine a world where we can tailor-make materials for any purpose.
It sounds like science fiction is becoming reality, but are there any downsides to this accelerated pace of discovery?
Well, one of the challenges highlighted in the report is the need for standardization and open access when it comes to materials data. Imagine a scientist in the US making a breakthrough with a new type of alloy, but a researcher in China is working on something similar without knowing it. By creating a common language and making data readily available, we can avoid duplication of effort and accelerate progress even further.
It's like building a global library of materials knowledge accessible to anyone with an internet connection.
Exactly.
Right.
And the report also mentions the rise of autonomous laboratories, a pretty futuristic concept.
Okay, now you're really piquing my curiosity. Are we talking about robots taking over the lab?
Not quite taking over, but they are becoming increasingly integrated into the research process. AI-powered systems can automate experiments, collect data, and even analyze results with minimal human intervention.
So does this mean scientists will soon be out of a job, replaced by robots?
Not at all. The report emphasizes the importance of human-in-the-loop systems, where AI is used to augment and enhance human capabilities, not replace them entirely. It's about freeing up scientists from tedious tasks so they can focus on the big picture thinking and problem solving.
So it's more like a collaboration, a partnership between humans and machines.
Precisely. Now let's shift gears and explore how AI is being used in a field that's deeply personal for many people, the diagnosis and treatment of rare diseases.
This is a topic that hits close to home for me as I have a family member who struggled for years to get a diagnosis for a rare genetic disorder. It can be a long and frustrating journey full of uncertainty and dead ends.
And that's precisely where AI can make a real difference. The report highlights how AI is being used to analyze vast amounts of medical data, including genetic information, patient records, and scientific literature. By sifting through all this information, AI can help identify potential causes of rare diseases and even suggest personalized treatment options.
It's like having a superpowered detective working tirelessly to solve a medical mystery.
That's a great way to put it. AI can spot patterns and connections that human doctors might miss, leading to faster and more accurate diagnoses.
And for patients with rare diseases, a timely diagnosis can mean the difference between years of suffering and a chance at a better life.
Absolutely. Early intervention is crucial, and AI can help make that a reality for more people.
It's inspiring to see how AI is being used to tackle such complex and personal challenges. But what about the biggest challenge facing humanity as a whole, climate change?
That's where our final case study takes us. The report explored how AI is being deployed on multiple fronts in the fight against climate change. We're talking about predicting extreme weather events, optimizing renewable energy systems, even monitoring deforestation.
It sounds like AI is being used as a powerful weapon in a battle that affects us all.
In a way, yes, AI can analyze vast amounts of climate data, from satellite images to weather patterns to human activity, helping scientists understand the complex dynamics of climate change and develop effective strategies for mitigation and adaptation.
So it's like having an AI-powered crystal ball that can help us anticipate and prepare for the impacts of climate change.
That's a good analogy. For instance, AI is being used to improve the accuracy of weather forecasts, particularly for extreme events like hurricanes and floods. This can help communities prepare for these disasters, potentially saving lives and property.
It's about giving people the information they need to make informed decisions in the face of a changing climate.
Exactly. AI can also play a crucial role in optimizing renewable energy systems, like solar and wind power. By analyzing data on weather patterns and energy demands, AI can make these systems more efficient and reliable.
So it's not just about understanding climate change, it's about developing the tools and technologies we need to transition to a more sustainable future.
That's the ultimate goal. But as with any AI application, there are challenges to address.
Like what are some of the hurdles we need to overcome?
The report highlights the need for international collaboration and data sharing. Climate change is a global problem that requires a global response. We need to break down borders and work together to leverage the power of AI for the benefit of all humankind.
It's about pooling our knowledge and resources to find solutions that work for everyone.
Precisely. And it's also about ensuring equitable access to AI technologies and expertise. Developing countries, which are often most vulnerable to the impacts of climate change, need to be part of this AI revolution. We don't want to create a world where only the wealthy nations have the tools to adapt to a changing climate.
It's about creating a more just and equitable world where everyone has the opportunity to benefit from these advancements.
Exactly. Now let's step back and consider what we've learned from these fascinating real-world examples.
We've seen how AI is being used to design new materials, diagnose rare diseases, and even tackle climate change. It's clear that this technology has the potential to revolutionize science as we know it. But as we've discussed, there are also challenges and ethical considerations that we can't afford to ignore.
And that's where the real work begins. We need to be thoughtful, responsible, and collaborative in our approach to AI.
Because the future of science, and indeed the future of humanity, depends on it. But before we get too deep into existential pondering, let's wrap up this deep dive with some key takeaways and food for thought. Stay tuned for our final segment where we'll distill all of this information into something you can actually use in your daily life. Welcome back to our final segment of this deep dive into science in the age of AI. We've explored the incredible potential of AI from speeding up discoveries to tackling global challenges. But we've also uncovered some potential pitfalls. So before we wrap up, let's step back and connect all the dots. What are the key takeaways for you, the listener?
If I had to sum it up in one sentence, I'd say AI is no longer a futuristic fantasy. It's a powerful tool that's actively shaping the world, including the world of science.
Right. So ignoring it is not an option. But this report isn't about fear-mongering, is it? It's more about giving us the knowledge to navigate this new landscape.
Exactly. The report paints a balanced picture, highlighting both the transformative potential of AI and the very real need for careful consideration of the risks. It's like we've been handed this incredibly powerful tool, and now we need to learn how to use it responsibly.
So it's not enough to just be aware of AI. We need to be AI literate. What exactly does that mean for someone who's not a scientist or a tech expert?
Um, it's about understanding the basic principles of AI, its capabilities, its limitations, and perhaps most importantly, the ethical questions it raises. Think of it like learning a new language, the language of the future.
So knowledge is power, and in the age of AI, that rings truer than ever. But this report also emphasizes that it's not just about individual understanding, it's about collective action. What did you make of those recommendations?
Well, the challenges posed by AI and science can't be solved by individual researchers working in silos. We need a truly global effort bringing together scientists, policymakers, industry leaders, and the public to ensure that AI is developed and used in a way that benefits all of humanity.
It's like we're all in this massive experiment together, and we need to be actively shaping its direction, not just passively observing from the sidelines.
Exactly. And the report offers some concrete steps we can take, like embracing open science principles to make research more transparent and reproducible, fostering interdisciplinary collaboration, to break down those silos between different fields, and investing in education and training to equip the next generation of scientists with the skills they need to navigate this AI-powered world.
And perhaps most importantly, we need to have open and honest conversations about the ethical implications of AI to ensure that it's used for good and not for harm. Because the future of science, and indeed the future of humanity, depends on it.
It's like we're standing at a crossroads with the power to shape the future in profound ways. And the choices we make today will have far-reaching consequences.
This deep dive has left me feeling both incredibly excited and slightly terrified, in a good way. It's clear that AI has the potential to unlock scientific breakthroughs we can barely imagine, but it also comes with a tremendous responsibility.
That's the perfect note to end on. The future is not something that just happens to us, it's something we create. And by engaging in these critical conversations and working together, we can harness the power of AI in a way that benefits us all.
So for all you curious minds out there, we encourage you to delve deeper into the Royal Society's report and explore the fascinating world of AI and its impact on science. The future is waiting to be shaped, and it starts with each one of us. Thanks for joining us on this thought-provoking journey, and keep those minds curious.